It really will just be a few words because I don't want to stand between you and the more exciting part of the program. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for being here to meet one of the most important objectives of Caribbean Week in New York, and that is to engage with the Caribbean diaspora. As you probably realize, the Caribbean Tourism Organization has arranged Caribbean Week in New York for many years, certainly over 40 years. But in the last few years, since June became federally designated as Caribbean American Heritage Month, we have made a point of making sure that Caribbean Week in New York always falls in the month of June. And so there's a lot to celebrate when we come to town to talk about the color and the culture and the excitement and the special vacation offers of the Caribbean. But most especially, we're talking about the contribution which Caribbeans have made to this great country, and we're recognizing the fact that we need to make sure we stay engaged with the Caribbean diaspora. Why? Because Caribbean people are the best salespeople and the finest ambassadors for the region anywhere on the planet. People ask me all the time, well, what is it like though? I mean, what does it mean to be Caribbean? Why are Caribbean people any different than any other people? Well, first of all, we're special. We come from a region of 40 million people or so, which is breathtakingly beautiful. We are a diverse place of French and Spanish and Dutch and English. Those are the languages we speak. But we're African and Asian and European and South American. We are a truly diverse part of the world that is easily accessible to wherever you are in a major city. People ask me, well, who are you anyway? What are you even called? And my answer is always, look, don't get too paranoid about whether we're Caribbean or Caribbean. I grew up thinking that I'm a Caribbean person, but here in the United States, apparently I'm Caribbean. We don't get too paranoid about whether it's tomato or tomato, so if you're easier with Caribbean, then fine. I'm Caribbean. So the point, though, I'm making is that we are the most hospitable people on the planet. Why? Because tourism really is not just for us a business. If you're from the Caribbean or you've been to the Caribbean, you understand that for us, hospitality is about sharing space and breaking bread and being with people. And that is what we do. That is who we are. It's not just about the business of tourism. Clearly, tourism being now the biggest business on the planet is important to us, and we're extremely happy that we are so competitive in that business. But after all is said and done, what we do here in New York City and what we do here in these small gatherings, that's vitally important for us to share with other people. So we come here to ask you to use your spheres of influence in your professional organizations, in your workplaces, in your churches, in your social gatherings, to help people to understand that when we say we're one Caribbean, and we say that quite a lot, one sea, one voice, one Caribbean, that oneness, that unity doesn't mean that we're all the same. We are incredibly diverse, and we want people to come and understand that and enjoy the culture of that diversity. And you know that better than anybody else. And certainly you have to explain to people that when you talk about the United States of America, people understand that really New York and New Mexico aren't exactly the same, or New Jersey isn't identical to Alabama, but it's one country, right? Well, we are one sea, one voice, one Caribbean, but we're incredibly diverse and exciting, and the experience that you get in Martinique is not identical to the one that will be in Barbados, and the one that's in Jamaica is not exactly the same as the one that you're going to get in Dominica. So you know that. I feel like I'm preaching to the converted. I don't need to go on any longer. I just want to say thank you for being here, and we really, really, really appreciate the engagement that we have with you. And if there's one other thing that you have to do during Caribbean Week in New York, well, actually there are two things. You have to make sure that you sample the food of the Caribbean celebrity chefs every night from, is it 5 or 6 in the evening? Silma Brown Bramble, 6 o'clock at Bloomingdale's at 59th and Lex. You have to take your camera out and photograph the spire of the Empire State Building on Wednesday evening. So look for some terrific vantage point. It's going to be lit up with the colors of the Caribbean. Tweet that, Instagram it, put it on Facebook, let people understand that the Caribbean is proudly shining in this icon of American culture. That's two things, right? The third thing is that you should be at Rum and Rhythm on Friday night at Capital, 130 Bowery, and there'll be several hundred of us there enjoying Rum and Rhythm, and that supports the CTO Foundation. And please also go to onecaribbean.org and catch anything that I've missed telling you about Caribbean Week in New York. So it's all at onecaribbean.org, and it gives you the entire spate of activity. If you're a marketing person, there's a specific program that you should come and be a part of, and most especially think of the work of the CTO Foundation that you'll help to support this week. Thank you very much for your time and your attention, and thanks for your support.